Hello, on this video I'm going to introduce you to my new gardening journal. I'm calling this the Seed and Soil Diaries, and I'm using this gorgeous 8x8 journal from Archer and Olive with a lovely floral design on the cover. I went through my stash of journals and I felt this one was the perfect one for this new journal setup. I'm starting off with the cover page. I created this image and isn't it so cute? I love the plants and the watering can, and I think it's just the best design ever for this journal. I'm using some double-sided tape around the edges to attach it to this cover page. I decided to base the theme around earthy tones and some plant-based washi stickers that I've had around for a while. Here, I'm using a sheet of 12 by 12 scrapbook paper to cover the existing page, and you'll see these come through on following pages as I keep using the same pattern to kind of tie everything together. I'm using just some regular old glue from the glue stick here to attach it to the page, and I have found that these work great for covering large areas in my journals when I'm needing to add elements that are a big part of the page. On the gardening goals page, I felt that I absolutely needed to have this spread in this journal. This is the main reason for creating this journal in the first place, and I wanted to document the goals I have for my garden, like learning how to water and fertilize properly, which plants like sun versus shade, when to harvest. How can I know if I'm accomplishing these goals if I don't have them documented in the first place? On the next page, I wanted to make sure I had a reference page for gardening terms as I'm learning them. I've been watching some YouTube videos on how to set up a raised bed, and I've been hearing some terms in gardening that I don't fully understand yet or that I want to learn more about. This is a simple way to keep those terms available for reference. Again, I'm pulling in another 12 by 12 scrapbook page here, and this is the same pattern that we'll be seeing throughout the other pages. Below the gardening terms, I wanted to include a small section with information on how I am setting up my raised beds. I don't know about you, but I don't always remember things from one day to the next, let alone 1 year to the next. And I knew that I wanted to keep a record of how I'm setting up my raised beds this year so that I can either replicate it or improve upon it, because it seems like there's a wide variety of ways to fill in the bases of raised beds. As we flip on over to the next spread, this one is all about weather. This is such a critical piece of success of a garden. I have set up 6 little boxes with 4-week spreads each, similar to how I set up my cyclic planning, and so they match up with how I use my normal setup in my daily bullet journal. The goal is to have the high and the low temperature for each day, as well as whether it was sunny or raining that day. And I highlighted the headers for each month and then added a bunch of larger washi stickers with plants and flower themes on them. I also included some washi tape as well for the title area of the spread. Next up, I'm creating a page for the list of plants I want to grow. This might seem counterintuitive. It should just be, pick some plants out, throw them in the ground, see how they grow. But I wanted to make sure that I'm incorporating everything it is that I'm trying to learn and grow in my garden. I'll have to limit the amount of plants I want to grow, but I want to be sure to get what I want planted in the beds. I also wanted to have like a master list of plants to grow, things to try over the next year or 2 years or 3 years. I'm keeping the same theme of highlighting the headers of the columns, and I decided to pull in more of that 12 by 12 scrapbook paper on this page as well. And of course, I brought in more of the washi tape plant stickers from a little book that I've had for years. On the following spread, I'm making a space to keep track of good companion plants and bad companion plants for the ones that I'm growing. I know some plants go really, really well together, and other plants really don't get along. I wanted to be sure to have this documented so that when I go to plan the layout for my garden, this will help me make sure that I am partnering plants up that really will do well together and separating the ones that really don't get along. At the bottom, I also made a little key for the symbols I'll be using in the chart. Again, I'm bringing in the strips of that same scrapbook paper as on the previous pages, and I'm really loving this pattern. I love the earthy tones and the leafy elements that are included on the scrapbook paper. And I'm thinking it's a really great way to bring all of these different pages together. Flipping on over to the next page, I made a spread for the planting layout for the 2 raised beds I plan on setting up this spring. My camera didn't record when I was setting up this page, but I definitely wanted to still include it in this setup. I'll be using the info from the plants I want to grow page and the companion plants page to plan out what I'm actually going to be growing in my garden this year. Lastly, I made a page for when I planted which seeds. I wanted to have some plants that I stagger throughout the growing season so that we can enjoy food from our garden throughout a longer portion of this summer. I'm thinking produce like lettuce, and green beans, and strawberries that once they ripen, they don't really keep as long in the refrigerator. Here's a final look and a flip through of the journal so far. I hope you enjoyed this setup, and if you've been here till the end of this video, please leave me an emoji in the comments so that I know that you stuck around the whole time, and I hope that you'll come back again for future videos. Let me know what other pieces of information you think should be documented in a gardening journal. This is my first time setting up a big garden like this, and I know I have a lot to learn. Lastly, I do plan on creating individual spreads for each plant type I'll be growing. So be sure to follow me on Instagram and YouTube to see these pages as they're completed this growing season. Also, if there's any other types of creative journals you'd like to see set up, let me know because I love setting up creative journals like this. So be sure to click that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next video.